Hey everyone, my name is Kabi and today I'm going to show you the game where the unusual strategy was used and the battle itself was quite spectacular, I guess. And the two very experienced players faced each other in this one. In the bottom right, as the dark red player, appears Gentas, who's been playing since the very early days of our testing, which is actually coming 1 year old in the upcoming days, because we initially opened the testing for the Russian region on the June 30. So the game was hardly available for the other countries by that time, but still those guys are from the Russian region, so they could take a participation from the very beginning. And so the other player of the same kind is no one but White Unicorn, whose plays we witness quite often on this channel, I believe. So he's playing the blue light in this game. He actually prefers to play light, I guess, and lean to this faction. And what's about Gentas? I think that he rather plays dark, but I believe I also played against him being light back in the days. But anyways, this is the light against dark matchup, and we see that both players go up to 8 workers, then get into the barracks and to the second tier of the main building, but then the difference comes because Gentas opts for the 9th worker, while White Unicorn prefers to go to the castle 2 straight to be able to get a faster tech. And what will that tech be, we are gonna see in the upcoming seconds. Here comes the worker, and it will be the elven tree, so it seems that the White Unicorn goes for the fast princess. And what about Gentas? It is still yet to find out. I'm not sure if I already mentioned it in the past and probably in the previous videos, but you can also spell this nickname as Hantas, but for some reason he asks to pronounce it this way. I do, so since it pretty much depends on what language you consider this to be, so it can be either one or another. So if he wants to be Gentas, then we will let him. Anyways, here comes the totem of orcs, but at the same time we don't see the altar of heroes yet, which probably a mistake. Or maybe he's gonna play the wolf riders in the first place, but then I'm not sure why we don't see the barracks. Alright, here is the altar of heroes. This building is quite a bit late, but maybe I'm just not aware of this build order in particular. Okay. So the first wolf rider is being ordered, being hired. And the princess is already halfway to be summoned, and White Unicorn goes for the mana well. And it is actually a dangerous decision, because if you're gonna take the mana well before the 5th minute mark, it means that on the chest, in the fight for the chest, your units are gonna be low on HP. Of course, as a return you're gonna have more mana, but it takes time to kill the elemental, and it takes even more time to actually capture the wells, so you probably will have as many as like 10 seconds of the bonus mana regen, so it won't really make a difference. But you can notice how Unic lets his swordsman go down, and I can't really tell if this is on purpose or if he just controls the princess, because it might be on purpose, because you don't have like all the units exposed, but you just have one unit less, but the other are about the full HP, and that means that they don't you don't spend your food on them. But at the same time, Unique is not supply blocked, so I'm not sure if that makes sense in this particular situation. Princess already has her Fanapharos, so here it comes and strikes the two Wolf Riders as well as the Orc Chief. Another Princess just trying to buy time, and at the same time Swordsmen engage and they surround the Chief, and that's probably not a good idea because he performs the circle strike, and then Swordsmen decided that they don't want to try to strike him through the bonus regeneration, and actually that probably was a wrong call because they opted for the other target, so they let the Chief to use the active ability on them, so they all received the magic damage from it, and they immediately went down. So probably they should have just striken the Chief, because you could see that when all those swordsmen were hitting the Chief, he was losing HP really quickly, so he didn't have enough regeneration to compensate that. So I believe that was a wrong call out of Unicorn, so he lost the right chest, but at the same time he took the left chest, but I didn't really like that trade. And at the same time Gentos is already on the third citadel, going up to the Goblin Lob and the barracks too, and the second barracks as well. I thought that he should have start an upgrade, so here he goes, and at the same time he should also upgrade an altar to be able to get an alchemist, but so far he didn't start it, but he's managing the control of his mana well, so it goes for the Gentos right now. And X-Masters are starting to be hired, so the red player is gonna go the traditional dark combination, it seems, which is the Chief, the Alchemist, the X-Masters. And in the meantime, both players sort of lost the timing of the middle chest. Probably Unique didn't feel that he has enough. He decided to spam Swordsman in the beginning of the game. I'm not sure if he had a daily errand to make like enough cut damage, or he just thought that it is the only unit that he can get fast enough to have enough supply. I'm not sure that he was really awaiting for the drills to sort of counter the drills with the Swordsman, but anyways, the Princess goes lower and lower, and Unique decided to retreat. He doesn't have a lot of swordsmen survive the fight either, and the mid chest also goes for the Gentos, to the Gentos side, to the Gentos name, and he already getting his X-Masters from the two barracks, and also already getting that Altar of Heroes. It is actually late, but better late than never, right? It is interesting that the players entirely ignore the idol. Idol could have showed us his new sound design, because when someone gets the idol, idol starts to spill the money, and there should be the sound. But I'm not sure that you ever heard it, because nobody really fond of getting the idols. And that is not because the idol is useless, but rather because it is hard to control it, because it gives you the money each the second, right? So it's not like the chest where you come, you win, you got it, and you have 5 minutes to get the new army. So if your opponent has something quick like Wolf Rider, he can just steal your idol each time you go away. And unlike the mana wells, which actually use precisely the same mechanic, the idols are usually in the center of the map, so it is really easy to control them and to steal them. But I'm not sure. Probably players should still get those more often. At the same time, there are 2 foxes on the map, but already 1 remain. 1 fox was killed in this position after taking the mana well, because Gentas wisely left an aeronaut on this position, so that is a bit obvious because he saw the Fox Rider in advance, so he just prepared really good with this combination of Napalm Tower and Aeronaut. And meanwhile, Gentas is supply blocked, and he decided to use his army to clean those reds and take the second base. So he decided to use the meteorite. I don't really like it, honestly, because he doesn't control a single mana well, so he just spent 125 mana for something that he could have got nearly for free. He could lose like 2 goons for that, or rather even 1 goon for that, and he could have saved all those mana. And now he could have also taken this idol, but not advancing to that side of the map, I believe. But at the same time, look what's happening in there, in the other base, because here we can see the factory 2 and the human monument 2, and white unicorns being actively spamming the ballistas. And actually the interesting thing about the ballista that you could have probably never thought about is that ballista is only of 5 food worth. So of course they are more expensive than like an archer, and especially in the tech, but once you have enough resources and you care about how good your army will even be, then probably you should consider ballistas, because like for 20 food you can get 5 archers or 4 ballistas, and once your enemy has a ground army, not an aviation army, just take a minute to think about what is more effective and what will have more impact on the fight, 5 archers or the 4 ballistas. And to me it is like quite obvious that 4 ballistas will have a huge impact on the fight, while 5 archers, not really. They can take down a couple of aeronauts maybe, if something will not one-shot them, like Grok ability along with the magic blast or something. So I really prefer the 4 ballistas on the battlefield, but of course they are very slow, so there is the hard positioning. At the same time, Fox not being able to take down the citadel, and the worker was able to successfully repair it and even survive in this case. But foxes are not really good at destroying the buildings, because they have a penalty against the buildings, and that is done because otherwise they would be all too strong in the harassment. So we don't really feel like 5 foxes destroying your important buildings in a couple of seconds is something good for the game. So anyways, the 2 workers go away finishing the 2 towers. Those towers can perform an attack against air, because White Unicorn right now doesn't have a lot to strike air. But at the same time, Gentas doesn't really have a lot. He only has 2 aeronauts so far, and Gentas decides to attack this position. Why is that? Is because the 15-minute mark chest is about to pop out any second now, and White Unicorn used the Rockfall because he had plenty of mana, and Gentas only now took his mana well back, but it is actually, in my opinion, it is a huge mistake that he didn't use a single scroll, because he had more than 100 mana, so he could have used this like a minute earlier, and a lot of the light units would be have to fight under the Ring of Fire. And now he still kills the 2 units, but that's not enough, and it seems that this chief is about to go down. The princess needs 1 shot, but White Unicorn decided to retreat rather than that. Not sure why is that. Probably he just didn't want Gentas to get the new chef with the full HP, but I'm not really sure. Probably he just didn't pay the attention to this position on the map and was busy with something else on the base. Anyway, now he decided to get back in the fight, and that honestly looks a bit weird, because there are already drills on the battlefield and they take down the guardsmen really quickly. White Unicorn opted for the Ring of Fire, and see how many damage does this scroll do, and that's just what Gentas could have used in the previous fight. But anyways, now the princess is about to kill pretty much all the workers if White Unicorn controls that, and he really does, so the only worker that will survive and in the meantime there are 5 ballistas that are taking this position in the middle of the map, and Gentas is actually up to 100 supply, so they are quite equal in supply, and the second base is still real, so it is 10 workers, about 10 workers, and interestingly enough, Gentas doesn't really use this potential, because what does the second base give to you is an opportunity to give more gold, because you are only limited on gold. You are nearly never limited on wood, because you can get as much wood as you want, right? You can just add a couple of workers, and even if you cut all this section, you can get even more here and even more here, so you don't really need a second base for that. But the gold is the other thing, and to get more gold you need this second base, and it is 1.4k resources, and that is really a lot. So Gentas doesn't really use this opportunity, but probably is about to start to do it now. But we can also notice that he's quite short on wood, and that of course also might mean that he spends his resources good, and he decided to go for the 3rd barracks. I'm not sure about that, because probably it would be better for him to get a 2nd workshop to be able to mass aeronauts, because what does Unique build is the wind mages and the ballistas, and those are also the guardsmen, and those are the core units in his army, and all of those are very vulnerable to the aeronauts. So I'm not sure why does he not build that. Probably that is something like an experiment to see if the spamming of the meta units such as the X-Masters can make and seal the deal, but that is quite a bit questionable to me at least. And here is an interesting move. White Unicorn decided to attack the 2nd base with the 2 of his ballistas with the support of the Circle of the Power. And in the meantime, Gentas decided to go, well, not really a base trade, but at least a sneaky type of an attack. Rocketeer is not being one-shotted by the 3 ballistas, so he barely survived, but probably that wasn't a good idea to even retreat, and he should have struck more rockets instead. But at the same time, Gentas, while controlling the Eater, I believe, wasn't able to control his other units, so they all dead in the Ring of Fire, which is so unfortunate. But drills are still alive, so those are about to take down a lot of workers, or Gentos might opt for just saving those, because nobody can really kill a drill under the ground, at least when they're this high on HP. But it seems that Gentos is about to use his drills in this engagement still. They killed the Wind Mage that probably was under the gravity, and then they kill the guardsman and they go for the other guardsman. Also Eater using his active ability, stunning down the princess, and the princess is getting damage from the drill, and the princess is about to go down, and the fight is suddenly looking well for Gentos, in my opinion. Unicorn decided to use the resurrection of his princess, and that should give him an opportunity to take down an Eater, probably, at least if he won't be using an AFK mod, because obviously the Eater along with the 3 drills will take down the princess really quickly, so the princess has to retreat. And it is funny that Unicorn decided to go for the archers, probably as a counter unit with the aeronauts, but there are no many aeronauts, but at the same time archers are so bad against the drills. But anyway, at least Unic was able to take down this one. And Rocketeer also tried to take down the Elven Tree, an important building, of course, because it takes very long to get the Elven Tree of the 2nd tier. And now the princess is getting stunned again, and Gentos is again was capable of taking the princess down. And he also gets the 2nd hero back on the battlefield, and apparently gonna try to kill this Elven Tree, destroy this Elven Tree once again. White Unicorn repairs his human monument, and not started, okay, now started repairing his Elven Tree. Ballista is firing these units, being too far from the human monuments, so not under the aura. Archers trying to help, Wind Mage trying to help. Princess is about to take down Archer in the other side of the engagement. Here X-Masters killing the Archer and probably gonna kill the Ballista too, but 2 Archers saving the day for the light player. And it seems that Orc Chief went down as well, and these units, even though they had the magic damage, was able to kill the drill at the end, kill the drill eventually. So Gentos is sitting on a low food right now, didn't upgrade his barracks, which is a mistake, I think. And still Gentos is very low on wood, and this doesn't make sense to me at all. Because honestly, I think that when you play Dark, a macro game like this, you should be up to at least 12 workers, or maybe even 13 workers, to really get enough wood for everything. And you don't really want to use the lumberjack scroll in the late game, because you need the powerful scrolls in the fights. But let's see what happens next, because White Unicorn comes to attack his opponent, but he's not really high on supply. They are almost around equal, but at the same time there are the Eater, which is not on the battlefield yet, but already consumes the food, obviously. But the drills, the perfect drills, are still saving the day for Gentos, it seems. Wind Mage and the Alchemist killed each other. White Unicorn uses his favorite Rockfall once again, killing a couple of Rocketeers, but 2 of them still alive, and they take down that Ballista and are about to take down the other one too. Rocketeers are really good against Ballistas when on low numbers, so you really need a lot of Ballista to create this zone where nothing can survive, or probably you need a stronger front lane. It is interesting that he constructed the Human Monument 3 in this position, so to get the maximum aura from it. Here is the Human Monument 2, so there are 2 monuments on the map, which you don't see any other game. And still nobody cares about poor idols. Or probably lizards don't mind. Not really like being killed, you know. It always sounds weird to me when Princess dies and comes with a phrase like, "Alright, it was fun." I'm not sure, little girl, if dying is fun. It is a funny process, you know, but well, the princess can at least come back. If someone summons her again. Unicorn doesn't do that in this particular game though. So the princess is still being killed. I mean, not being killed, but still killed as per right now. And it seems that Gentos is about to steal the mana well from his opponent right now. And then I guess he's gonna strike the enemy's base from the right side. Unicorn is gathering all his forces in the middle. Okay, one drill is about to steal the mana well. And it is, I guess, the incorrect all-army move, but Gentos was quick enough to prevent this X-Master to get through the army and get killed. Or I don't know, maybe he's about to steal the chest, but it is not coming really soon. And one more little fox stealing the mana well. And Unicorn sees this army with the guardsman. And Gentos decided to drop this guardsman and rather go for attack. He's gonna kill the Dwarven Forge really quickly. Unicorn uses one more rockfall, but only kills one unit this time, because the rockfall is the random scroll, and it doesn't really kill a lot if the units are not hardly stuck. So anyway, Dwarven Forge goes down. Unicorn approaches with all of his assaulting force. Also uses the meteorite. A couple of units go down. The Eater gets a lot of damage from those ballistas. Like this, Eater throwing everyone away from him. Stunning down the fox, killing it. Approaches. Oh, okay, I thought he would be destroying the ballistas, but he goes for the guardsman rather, and goes down then. So only 2 drills survives. One drill immediately go down from the ballistas. Apparently they received the crit from the Human Monument 2, and that was an empowered crit, so incredible damage came in. So only 1 drill survived that, and at the same time Gentos is getting his second base back. Still rather being kept in the wood, but not in gold. Unicorn is who's been kept in gold, but not taking the second base for some reason. Actually, since he has the position in the middle of the map, it would make sense for him to get a second base, but well, he decided not to go for it. At the same time, he goes for the second base and the main base at the same time, once again. And Gentos is 30 foot below his opponent right now. But he has the auras. He has... Alright, Unicorn decided to go for the Circle of Power to take down the Altar of Heroes quickly, to prevent the heroes to come back on the battlefield. And of course those ballistas under the circle of power really do the great damage. Princess using her crits against the Eater, and one guardsman barely survives the previous fight, goes down under the Napalm Tower fire, and the princess will apparently be killed this time around, or should we say once again. But this hero Ballista destroyed the citadel, because Gentas didn't notice that on time. Unic uses the scroll because he probably didn't even watch to this position, so he checks if there are the other citadel, but no man, you just killed the only one that was there. He didn't know that, I guess. And now that he lost his factory, he used his resources and time to get a couple of wind mages on the battlefield, because who knows what the previous engagement was about to end up with. So you always wanna have at least something. So it's better to get something than wait forever to get the right thing and not get enough. So you want at least have something to fight with. And right now there are the 3 wind mages, and Unicorn is advancing on the chest, and Gentas is also going on the chest, and it seems that he's using the move command, and look on those 4 wind mages that go straight into this dark army, and even though being gravited, they destroy all the X-Masters in like no time. But then the Eater used his active ability, so of course he did incredible damage to those wind mages, and the aeronauts finish those down, and they will also destroy all of those guardsmen, and the princess is also being killed still. But at the same time Unicorn got this chest. But was it worth it? Well, actually it wasn't the loss of the wind mages, it was the trade of them for the X-Masters, so it is probably about being fine, if we consider that Unicorn is still strongly up on the foot, on the supply. So he goes to another attack, and there are Baron this time around, and here comes the gravity. Unic still has plenty of mana to work with. He uses the active ability, not really hitting much, to be honest. So the Wind Mage, along with the Guardsmen, are trying to take down those Rocketeers. Rocketeers can't really fight from this short range, but at the same time Eater is stunning the Bombardier, so the dwarf hero doesn't really work in this fight, and honestly all the fight was pretty much the mess for White Unicorn. It didn't really go his way. Gentas could have beaten this guardsman if he could have reacted quick enough, but anyway, if he reacted quick enough, I mean, I would really love to see a healer from White Unicorn to replenish health for those units. What he decided to do is to build a crossbow tower closer to the enemy's position, because those aeronauts is really something that doesn't let him to play strategy comfortably enough. And didn't I suggest to build one workshop earlier, one more workshop to spam even more aeronauts to like prevent the light player to play all this? But instead of that, Gentas proceed to play the meta things, the X-Masters and the Rocketeers, and they don't really work good enough, and the light player can just sit on these powerful ground things, and I don't really think that that is a good strategy from Gentas globally, but probably he was curious if it can still be work, if Dark is that broken and overpowered. And what we think about this? Well, probably Dark is not really that broken. We can confirm that Dark is slightly stronger right now, mainly because of the heroes, but we are gonna tweak the light heroes soon. Well, I mean, not the other day, but it will happen in a couple of weeks, I believe. And also the other balance patch will probably be helpful for the light force, but in this particular game they didn't really need that to end up winning this game, and Ballistas along with the human monument really did a well job, as well as the positioning and the scrolls usage, of course. So congrats to Unique for this victory, and thank you guys for watching this fight. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to see more, and I'll see you there. My name is Kabi. Bye bye.